Hello, and welcome back to season 2 of Tussa City Podcast. Thank you for joining us again, or if this is your first time listening in, we are a bi-weekly podcast where we just basically shoot the shit about everything going on in the world. Let's offer our maybe not so very rare, but very unique approaches to things at times. And yeah, we just, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to give y'all good content, but we don't want to make it, too stiff. So we just, come by, relax. Maybe if you're listening to this at work, put a little headphones in because, some cursing going on here and there. Don't want your boss coming by. What you doing? But as always, I am Faxman Creed, joined by the good brother, my good brother.
You already know your boy, Twin 4K, back on Dizzle. I feel like I'm having a focusing issue right now. I don't know if my camera's, unless I'm tweaking right now, I feel like it keeps like latching onto my microphone, but I don't even know, man. But it's your boy, Twin 4K, man. We back on set. And, I guess I'm happy to be alive another week, man. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's December. You know what I'm saying? We made it through a crazy ass year. So, shit, man. I'm just happy to be.
It's December 7th. That's crazy. Where the hell did this entire year go?
This year was like shot by, bro. It doesn't even make sense. Like I feel
it was
like
March, and then that was it.
Exactly. Pretty much. What happened is that we started, like the lockdown started, and then like the whole year shot by. So pretty much where we're at now, and it's just like, man, I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm happy to have made it through. I guess I could say, you know what I'm saying?
Another 2 weeks. So with that in mind, how was your time away? How was your break in between?
My week was all right, bro. I mean, overall, like, these last 2 weeks have been, pretty much, I guess, social media, everything on the internet. I haven't done too many things, I guess, like outside of just like, just being home and just paying attention to what's going on. As far as just like the actual things that I've gotten into, I mean, your boy has just been like really just been still on the hunt for cars. Cause like my fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like you
got the one, so now you're like, now you
exactly. You gotta get the next situation already situated. It's crazy how that works. Like, at least when you're in a relationship, it's two different cars. So you account for one, you still gotta account for another. So my maximum, man, I don't know if I'm keeping it, bro. I don't know if like. If I have that relationship, at least with the car, and I mean, it's for many reasons. I think a lot of car people would understand and concur. Like, if you know a lot about cars, like the Nissan Maxima platform, although it was cool, Nissan at one point was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just time to move on. It's time to move on from the standpoint of like, there's just better options out there. There's better performance options. There's better luxurious options. And Nissan, to be honest, they don't give a fuck about their fan base, their whole consumer base. They don't listen to them, to be entirely honest. They for years have just given us the same cars over and over and over. We're pretty much at a point where outside of like, maybe the transmissions and the engine options, the Infiniti, which is Nissan's luxury brand, doesn't necessarily offer any benefits over like a Nissan. Like a Nissan has more technology than an Infiniti product, but Infiniti might have the performance over the Nissan products. So it's stupid. It's like they're working backwards. Like you don't see BMW or Lexus or, all the other like major like luxury brands, Audis, Mercedes. Yeah, they don't do that with their subsidiary brands. They don't do that.
Yeah, subsidiary brands and the classes too. Like, C class, E class, A class, S class.
Exactly.
Benz, this is all what you're paying for, and you know why they're each money and why they're considered this class.
Exactly. You feel like the reward as you go up those different rankings. I guess is like the way I want to put it. But pretty much that's like the issue right now with Nissan, and I'll be honest, like my Max is a great car, and I mean even like compared to some of the cars that I'm even cross shopping, I guess stock for stock, my car could kind of trade blows with them. It's not like too far behind, and even technology, and I would say, and even on some levels, interior quality wise, it's really like neck for neck. I don't want to reveal what I'm looking at, but at the same time, I just know like with what I like to do and what I feel like I'm gonna be getting into, like. Like I really like playing with my cars, with all due respect, like and like the Max, even to some degree, like I was doing like exhaust work, I did intake work, and I was kind of getting into the whole modding things and trying to get in, but there is a roof because of the transmission on that car versus like on cars like BMWs or Mercedes, and even like the Dodge with the new V8s and things like that. They're using all these new 8-speed automatics and 7-speed, 9-speed automatics, like all these like technologies though that are easily moddable. They're popular with a lot of the performance guys. So I don't want to be too long-winded on just that. I mean, that's been pretty much my I feel like it's been my entire week, but at the same time, I still was doing other things. If anybody's been following me on the gram or on Twitter the last 2 weeks, you'll see that I threw the NZXT Z63 all-in-one liquid cooler on my PC, the Kraken. You already know, son. So I threw that bad boy in my rig, and that shit was pretty fun, man. It was actually interesting because technically, in my case, that cooler is not supposed to have fit. It's actually a 280 millimeter cooler. Anybody who doesn't know, I'm actually using a Lian Li LandCool 2 PC case, and up top, it's not supposed to be able to fit a 280. It's only supposed to be able to fit 240s. So I got the 280 to fit up there, nice and snug. And I mean, this cooler is just so cool because it has like a digital LCD screen that can show you temperatures. But my ass, I fucking put a fucking
the Cameron killer season.
Cameron killer season. Cracking a bottle over the dude's head for being disrespectful while they were shooting crabs. Yeah, they were shooting dice and he smashed the bottle over his head. I'm literally looking at it right now as I'm speaking this, and it's just hilarious, bro. I love the rig, man. It's really just come together. Like everybody who sees it in person, they was blown away. So I'm super happy to have that done. And the performance games have been crazy.
Can't beat the liquid cooling. It's a pain in the ass to set up, but if you got the time and the resources and the money, it's 100% one of those saying luxury cars. That's like a luxury equivalent, really. You treat yourself, you put that work in. Yeah. And it does reward you, or reward your rig, rather.
That motherfucker cooled off, bro, and essentially all my temps dropped. I want to say anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees. So that's crazy. That's an incredible performance increase, and sound wise, it's been phenomenal. I don't hear anything coming from a machine other than the pump noise. So that's been pretty cool. And then last but not least, I've just been watching television, man. I've been actually back into television. I don't know about you. I watched The Undoing. I don't know if you got a chance to get into that.
What the hell is that?
Oh, man. That's
There's so much shit nowadays. It's so hard for me to keep up. Every week I hear something. Did you watch this? I'm like, what are all of these things? Well, this week, I guess it's Undoing. Last week, people were like, you got to watch Queen's Gambit.
I honestly, Cheyenne is more up to date with like all the different like shows that come on television and things.
I think Ruthie's watching this.
Yeah, it was like that little 5-episode like thing that came out over like I don't want to say came out over Thanksgiving, but I guess it came out recently and it culminated with the episode that I released last week. And that motherfucker was epic, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Issa Rae tweeted, she was to say, yo, son, Undoing, son, I love white mess. And honestly, that's what that show is. That show is this mad white mess. Like that shit had me in tears when she said that. But
you can't relate, so you just be like, damn, y'all just seem like y'all going through it, huh?
Yeah, nah, it's honestly some of the most crazy shit because I think it was like an Upper East Side or like pretty much like right below Harlem. So I would say like a really prominent neighborhood. Obviously, that motherfuckers get a fucking tragedy happens, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might be watching it or might want to tune into the show. But like that shit just gets crazy, bro. It just goes so left. I don't want to say you don't expect it, but at the same time, you're just like, all right, like come on, damn, you wasn't expecting that. But then like you have the answer in front of you and you don't want to believe it until the last minute. And I think it just has, it says a lot about just the current state of society and the current state of just perceptions. And it actually even plays into one of our later topics. I'm not going to like reel it in. I'm going to reel it in when it comes to, when we talk about it a little bit later. But that's a pretty good show. I don't know if you're gonna tune in with Ruthie, but definitely try and give one of those a watch. You're gonna laugh. You would just laugh the whole time. You'd be like, nah, this shit is just fucking insane, and you would just laugh. Right?
That's probably what I would say, honestly.
And then fucking last but not least, my baby, my favorite show, the final season of Attack on Titan. Shout out all my anime manga heads. You know what I'm saying? The final season's back, so. We cracked that bottle last week.
What do you think so far? I mean, I'll be reading the manga. So after like, I think season 2, I was like, I'm not waiting any longer. I'm just going to start reading this.
Yeah. I mean, well, they're up to the first episode. And I mean, it just like right now, it seems like I actually don't remember what happened the very last episode of the season prior, but I do remember what they were kind of building up towards, if I remember correctly. So this looks like, a jump in time to either before, I think it was, I would say before what's going on, and they're kind of like leading up to like, okay, whatever happened with the Titan. Like I've seen the Beast Titan essentially, and what I'm saying, you see like Rainer, and like, I'm like,
Yep.
what I'm saying, it's just crazy. So I don't know, it's cool. I think Attack on Titan is probably the best like anime on television for me right now. Like it's definitely the one that's taken or replaced my like binge for like Naruto growing up and Bleach, and I was definitely one of the main like anime dudes. I'll definitely be honest about that shit. So like having a show like that step in there, like it's just been pretty fire. So I don't know, I'm excited, bro. I can't wait.
It takes that typical shonen protagonist shit and just throws it out the window. Like
Exactly.
you gonna deal with whatever happens.
Yeah,
The Game of Thrones of the anime
honestly,
world.
Exactly, bro. I feel like what the thing about Attack on Titan though that captivates me compared to a lot of different animes I've ever even gotten into is just that. That shit just makes you feel a true sense of despair. Like sometimes you're like, I actually feel bad for the characters. I'm like, bro, imagine being in that situation.
It's such a harrowing like world they live in. You're like, nah, bro, I would not want to be in part of this at all.
And it's like the way they animate it too. They actually animate the expressions and the feelings so very well. Like you're looking at the character like, oh man, he looked like he just shit himself, and he has to deal with this. Like, imagine having to deal with this. Oh man, but bro, that's been my week, man. That's been my week for the most part. How about you?
What
man?
about shit? Because it's been 2 weeks, so Thanksgiving too.
Oh man, actually, you know what? I forget, and that's like the bi-weekly schedule kicking in right there. But Thanksgiving, actually, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Honestly, since that's passed, and me, we just spent that with the fam, man. We was just low key. I actually didn't even get to see like my family because you want to be responsible. I didn't want to go to like my dad's or. And my mom actually is so funny. She's on vacation. That's a long story. Like African parents, man, they feel invincible, and regardless of anything, they're invincible. But I was responsible. I still didn't go check in with like too many people. I did check in with Shola and Rebecca, and actually, shit, they announced. I keep forgetting. So many shit. Like so much time passed. Congratulations to Shola and Rebecca, man. Like because they actually bringing in a beautiful baby girl. That is gonna be crazy. Going to be another uncle 2 times.
Family just growing,
The family continues to grow, so that shit is crazy. But man, we spent Thanksgiving with them, and also with Shy's family up the street. We just really low key, nothing too crazy. Not like Thanksgivings of years past where you get to get drunk and bounce between different places. And
gotta make do what you got.
Yeah. How about
this
you,
time
bro?
around? Our Thanksgiving, circumstances came up, so we had to change the last minute, but we ended up just cooking. We cooked a lot. Cooked a lot of mac. Cooked a lot of mash. It worked out. We just did what we could with our time. The week after was just crazy. I got to tell you, after there's just like a bunch of stuff that went on. I was just like, what the hell is going on right now? Other than that, it's just just been keeping it light and breezy here at the crib, trying to, like I said, going back to the last episode, just finding ways to stay not necessarily productive, but just feeling like I'm not just sitting here doing absolutely nothing, just finding some forward progress in everything that I'm doing to at least give myself a sense of time passing, as opposed to if I feel like I sit here and do the exact same thing, that's what leads to me being like, what day is it? So just trying to get that going. And then, I mean, today I watched Tenet. That was crazy. I really give that a lot of thumbs up. I would do a review on that, but no, it was good. It was good. If you like Christopher Nolan films, you like action. It was basically time James Bond with a black man at the front, which is, hey, there's absolutely zero complaints to me at that. That and what was, I don't know if I was watching really a lot of TV this week. Nah, it wasn't anything.
Shit. I don't blame you. Honestly, I don't watch TV other than like, I feel like the fact that these two shows are like that show was on and like it captivated me. Like there's only like a few things I watch consistently. Maybe Law and Order, basketball. Like it's very like it's so funny. I watch Law and Order be pissed off at cops and like their propaganda towards the cops, and like it's so funny. I'm very very basic when it comes to like what captivates me on
Yeah.
television. So I don't blame people for
Honestly.
not watching TV. Yeah.
Like if I tune in on a show by accident, I see like a hot fight scene, I'll be like, well, all right. Let me find
Yeah.
out another episode of this. Let me see. Like I don't demand a lot. Like I don't need a show with like 40 different layers of complex character interactions and all this. Nah, it just needs to be enjoyable. Enjoyable
Yeah.
good or enjoyable bad. That's two different things, but whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty much my week. So shit, let's get into it. We have a lot of stuff that we put, but we can just filter stuff out or just pick apart any one of the topics. So I'm gonna leave it to you to choose what we're gonna get into first here.
I mean, I guess let's crack it off. I mean, let's just pop the bottle, man. I mean, I feel like we kind of already started talking about it, or it's like about the whole notion of shit, man. It's already like December. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, like the year
Yeah.
kind of like flew by. Like, and as we like, I guess approach. I mean, we're gonna be able to still get at least one more episode, and
Yeah.
I think before the end of the year to do like a true recap. But I mean, I guess if we're like looking back at the year. Because I know I like that topic you kind of threw in the chat. Like looking back at your year, like I don't know, like do you have like I don't know, like do you like is there anything you appreciate or like say have learned or maybe per se, you know, I guess have like gained or maybe has you looking towards the future with positivity? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
So,
what's the one thing that this year is like, I guess, taught me or like that resonated with me, I guess, is the
yo,
question that you're trying to ask.
my man just took the words and put them all together for me because like I definitely could not say that.
All right, let's see. I
Oh
would
man,
say, damn, it sounds cheesy, and like I would say every year since 2017 has really been that, but like this has been again, I would say like a really big year of just dedicating towards like I would say self-awareness, but also because I feel like I try to pride myself on being self-aware, having a lot of conversations internally with myself about, who I am, moral and ethical implications, all of that, encompassing me as a person. But this year felt like it was the time to say, okay, I'm aware of who I am. And that means good and bad things, but also having the awareness to say, I need to change these things or certain things about myself that I might find, or I'd be like, you know what, that's not a good or healthy, conducive habit. And that could be anywhere from, how I might talk to somebody when I'm, angry or mad or any which one of those things, but just really saying, okay, it needs to be more than just, okay, I know that that's wrong. I need to start now catching it as I'm doing it and then learning, okay, how do I prevent that from even happening now? How do I be better in all of these regards? And just constantly looking at that and just even, stuff that I learned in the beginning of the year with myself and then even to now. And even that changed from the stuff I learned and saying, oh, I took that a step farther within the same year. So I would say, yeah, just really taking that self-awareness, getting these lessons learned, getting a better picture about who I am, unlearning things that might be unhealthy or things that are unhealthy, and also understanding that, listen, like this journey is going to happen every year, but I feel like this year was the first time I kind of like put my 2 feet in the ground and was like, all right, I'm actually going to really, really do this and like just really try and, because I knew like if I don't do it this year or necessarily try to work on that, like the I guess dread that surrounds this year right now would like 100% get into me, and it's still getting to me, but I feel like it's only getting to me a certain amount because I did that work.
no, I can respect that. I respect that.
What about you?
Nah,
What's the
yeah, like I hope like obviously you just continue to like at least gain on that, you know what I'm saying, and achieve at least what it is that you're looking for. At least for me, going in or at least this year, like what I feel like that I've like been able to look back and at least learn and at least want to carry forth into next year is just like I've learned that like you really have to have and I mean we talked about it I think on the last podcast, that appreciation for the process and just understanding that that things aren't instantaneous and that the things that you may want in life rather like I have a true problem of I don't want to say of like necessarily like window shopping, but maybe like having like that bystander effect of like when you want something or you want to achieve something, sometimes you might do a lot of thinking about it, or maybe like you may stand back and watch what it is that you feel like you want, or something that you want done, or you might even like shit. We live in the modern era in 2020. You can
Mhm.
go on YouTube and literally anything in the world that you can think of, you could probably type in and somebody is doing it. Like so,
Yeah.
you can just watch it be done, or something that you maybe want to do professionally, or even something for a hobby, or if you maybe want to be able to get away and like go somewhere on vacation. Is there like a type of food you may want to eat? Whatever it is, your hobby, a car you want to drive by, a guitar you want to play, like a fucking piece of technology you want to test out. Whatever your mind can conjure, like pretty much you can find on there. And like I kind of have like a very bad issue with doing that, where like whether it's professionally or just creatively, or just something that's personally bothering me, or something that I might want in my career, like I'll just like be like a bystander effect. I'm just watching it be done,
Mhm.
watching like that shit happen, and not actually trying to put in the work. Like I don't know when it happened, but I kind of went from being a go-getter as far as like a lot of like just going to do the things that I needed to do to get the things that I want done, to just kind of
Yeah.
standing back and being like, shit, man, I can't wait to get it done. And like, so I don't want to say I'm waiting for it to be handed to me, because I feel like in adult life, unfortunately, like a lot of things have felt like that. Like sometimes it feels like, oh, yo, you know what? If I just put in the hours, I put in the time, eventually, you'll get the recognition. Eventually, you'll get this. Eventually, you get that, and you know, like that is cool and that's fine, but like you need to make sure that you're actually putting in the steps during the process, and or enjoying that process of, all right, yo, you know what, like if you want that job, you might actually have to go to work and act like you like your job, and like, or at least have to see like, what I'm saying, like see the value in it, in what it is that you're doing, try to draw the value out of it and turn that into a positive, so that you could try and get what it is that you want. So that next position that you want, you might be able to look at this job and be like, yo, you know what? Well, I could kind of like finagle the definition of this job to say that I was doing this and the job responsibilities for the job that I want. You know what I'm saying? Like match that shit up
Yeah.
on your resume, and or like at least if you could identify that your job actually has those um like skills, benefits, I guess, or things,
Qualifications.
qualifications, yeah, like things or things that will teach you so that you can pull to your next job. If it has those things, make sure that you are working hard to capitalize upon those things. And I definitely, with my newest job, I'll be honest, like I just fell into a state of just weird, like, I wasn't really going after things anymore. And this year has just really taught me to like, yo, you have tons of time to yourself. You know what I'm saying? We've been locked at home for months on months on end. And like honestly, like I've learned that, yo, this shit is just not gonna be handed to you, bro. Like when you look around or at any peers, or you see, unfortunately, that's the biggest thing that we got to deal with in the 2020 is that, you have Twitter, you have these news sources, the Instagrams of the world. You're looking at that shit and you see people succeeding, whether it's your
Yeah.
friends, family, random people on Twitter, or, I'm fucking 20 years old and I just signed my first
Yeah.
$200,000 contract. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they want to say, like some bullshit. Like you're just like, damn, like, okay, if I really, really want success, or I want like my definition of success, or whatever that is, I have to work towards these things. And I kind of just gotten into a position and or place mentally where like that's kind of just been my motto, like to just get back on top of, okay, you know what, if you want this done, this is just what you have to do. And you have to enjoy this process of like you're having this conflict within yourself of just putting in the work. And I mean, if you do it though, it's that shit gonna pay off. And like you actually
Yeah.
have to think about it, like, dog, like think about what it is that you want, like, and what it is that you want out of your life. Like if you put in this work right now, like you're gonna feel really good about yourself if you're actually able to get it done. So like, I'm trying to get high off of that again. You know what I'm saying? Like there's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like this, like I lost the high, like the love for that high. So I'm trying to get that hot love for that high back. And like that's what 2020 has taught me. You know what I'm saying? Especially shit, with Rona out here, man. Like
Yeah.
this shit has stripped opportunity from everybody. Like everybody's
Yeah.
opportunity, everybody's joy. You know what I mean? What it is that a lot of people wanted to accomplish this year, they weren't able to accomplish. So like to me, once they got this vaccine out there, and shit, I know we gonna get into that in a little bit. like that shit is just gonna be a true motive. Like it's gonna be a true reason to just be motivated again. Like I'm not saying I'm gonna be first in line to get injected, but at the same time, I am saying like I am gonna get that vaccine in me because it's responsible. You know what I'm saying? You get vaccinated, and then as a society, we're gonna do what we need to get like just back in the game because that shit is important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely feel like I've been sidelined for too long. That shit is like a very demoralizing and demotivating feeling. Like
Yeah, it's definitely definitely those things, and for me in particular, like I'm seeing it up front with like job hunting, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, like this is
yeah,
just terrible. But
oh
also,
man.
like I came to a similar conclusion in the way that I always look at myself and like, all right, I'm still trying to figure out what to do, and I've tried like my hand at several different things since a certain age, and so I guess the other aspect of that same point is that I looked at it and said, yeah, you have to do the work, but also don't be deterred because you have to do the work now at 26 and you see people at 20 get it. Like don't try to limit yourself and be like, oh, I'm too old or I failed, like it's too late for me. Like nah, like you can it could turn around whatever point in time, and like that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Like whatever it happens for you, it happens for you. Like just because you
Mm-hmm.
see it happening to somebody else earlier doesn't mean that your life is any worse or any, worse off because of it took you till 32 or 40 to get your big break or whatever you're doing. Who cares? It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. What happens is, your life has steered yourself in that direction, and, pitfalls and shit like that happens. But, if you want to get to a certain spot, then yeah, you put in that work. And sometimes other obligations deter that. But, there's tons of people that little by little, all right, hey, listen, you start school, you go to school for 2 years. Some people suddenly have a kid. Then all of a sudden it takes you 7 years to finish school. Don't worry about the time it took you 7 years. The fact that you finished school, be proud of that. And be
Mm-hmm.
proud. Like some people couldn't even do what you did and tried to manage both, being like, yo, I had to raise my kid and go to school, but I still did it. So I just look at it and just try to say, especially this year, like we were saying, with like the whole dread and people not making out of this year, because of the COVID. So I'm looking at it like, listen, like I gotta just be thankful that I'm even here.
Mm-hmm.
And that I could even still work on the shit that I'm trying to work towards. Some people, that's it. They don't, for
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate circumstances has stripped them of that. It's just said, sorry, that's it. Your time on this planet is done. Thanks.
Shit
So I
crazy.
just gotta be thankful, yeah, that I'm here doing this pod, that I could even say, you know what, I'm gonna try to, finally do the things I want to do or start working towards them or start, making a more conscious effort. So, but yeah, so speaking of that, I
Mm-hmm.
guess shit, let's jump into some smaller topics when we get into the heavier stuff. Um I was, what? Let's do this one because I feel like it's a little meaty, but it's just funny. So
yeah.
anybody that's been on Instagram and Twitter has just seen the debacle of True Kitchen and
And
cocktails
cocktails with a case.
and the whole video with everybody going crazy and the owner going crazy and just that entire situation.
Mm.
And it's just one of the funniest things I've seen in some time. Like,
It's so much ridiculousness, man. I don't even know where to start on it. I don't know if, like, and I guess, that is the conversation, the conversation of, is the owner doing too much? Like, do people just not have
were the people
self-control?
doing too much? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
like, or is it just everything on both sides and in between? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even understand. Like, I just really don't understand. Shit, when did brunch become more about the dancing and drinking than the food? Like, I feel like
I don't
brunch
know.
used to be about the food, but I don't know, man.
I
Like, I don't
feel
know. How do
like,
you feel about it, bro? Yeah, I'm gonna let you. Let me
oh,
let you get the.
brunch is cool. I don't know where it came from that like places just started really emphasizing like brunch to be a thing. I guess I look at it like I personally enjoy brunch for the fact that, oh, I'm drinking early, which means that I can, get blasted and it's only 2 o'clock and I could, be sober and then go to sleep at 10, 11 o'clock at night and be all right. Instead of being out wee hours into the morning, 3 a.m., going back on the train, you just slumped in the chair. Like, I can't do that no more. So brunch is like that perfect medium. But yeah, I don't know. I guess because of that, because of, I guess, the popularity of brunch, more people starting to do it. I guess they said, all right, well, this could be daytime clubs is essentially what some brunches are. Like I've been to, remember Il Bastardo when it was on 7th Ave? That shit was a club basically. Like it was dark as hell in there. There was a whole dance floor afterwards. Like they was just serving. It was crazy. So I feel like, yeah, that it's definitely due to the fact that, you know, there's two types of people who go out at night and people go out in the day. And the businesses said, hey, look, we can still cater to people go out in the day, or people that just like party environments at all hours of the day. So
Yeah, no,
but yeah, the whole shit itself is just crazy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, to the owner, I don't know what you was expecting. You serving people out of Patron bottles, out of Douce bottles, like this full amounts of liquor, and
Oh
like,
man.
and you playing music, and you playing that kind of music, and when people sitting there drinking that whole shit, and God, you know, I don't know how long they waiting to get their food, but I know in some places you wait an hour to get your food, but it's unlimited drinks. By the time it get there, you're already done. You're already cooked up. So
Yeah.
if you ain't want that environment, why did you give everybody the recipe for that?
Yo, you just getting the recipe, man. Especially if they don't got no food in them. So yeah, they gonna be dancing on all fours, boy. What are you saying? Like, if they're drunk with no food in them, like you got to waiting on the food. No, I definitely agree. Essentially, like I'm definitely one of the guys that's in the middle on this, because I feel like the owner definitely was an asshole. Like, I mean, if we're gonna be straight up and be honest and frank about the situation, he was an asshole. You know, he came out like, and you know, if anybody has watched the video, I'm sure everybody's watched the video. He was just extremely condescending. You know, it just came off like aggressively to everybody when it really was just one person supposedly that was doing the dancing. I don't have all the facts, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. Like,
I don't have them either. I don't know.
Yeah, like you know, because I mean, it's crazy. Like, this is even news, but this is the state of fucking news in 2020. Like, yeah. But that is the supposedly the situation. I mean, he addressed a whole room versus the one person. He should have just addressed the one person. I think that, like, he could have been a lot nicer. I mean, but I think we do need to have that conversation about self-control. Just like I got it written there. Like, come on, son. Every single time y'all hear music, bro, we don't need to be on all fours, twerking, grinding, this and that, like dancing. Like, I like, yo, man, I don't even want to sound like that guy, because I guess, like, you know what? The conversation did evolve on the timeline, and I actually don't have it there, but a lot of people were saying some things like that. A lot of, like, people's, like, questions, or, like, once you start to question, oh, why shouldn't we have been dancing and this and that, or like, she should be allowed to, like, twerk, I guess, and do these things in public without anybody saying that she needs to control herself, or, like, this is all rooted in, like, you know, whiteness and, you know, all that, like, stuff like that, you know, y'all have this idea of, like, this is what y'all need to be in public, in a restaurant.
Got to conduct yourself a certain way to be acceptable in a way.
Like, you know, and I'll be honest, like, there's absolutely truth to that statement. Like, you know, you feel like, oh, like, you know, you start doing dancing, or you start twerking, you start grinding in a club, or, oh, now you acting ghetto. Like, for a while, that shit was like, oh, they acting ghetto in the corner, or like, you acting up. Anytime somebody starts, like, bugging out, if anybody start getting light in the club or something crazy, like, oh, nah, the hood is here. Like, that's what people think, like, if Brooklyn just showed up, or Harlem in the house, or something crazy, like. And it's just like, you know, why? Like, why is it that, I guess, black acts of joy and our celebrations is considered, like, unworthy, or, like, not, like, okay in certain situations that actually call for it? Like, I mean, just like you said, there's drinks.
Nobody say shit when after sports games, when white people just burning cars, flipping that shit over, like, hey, let's go, we just won the World Series. Yeah. Basically blowing shit up.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
and the cops are just like, yeah, they're just celebrating. What do you want them to do, huh? And it's just like, it is funny. I would say, like, personally, in this one particular instance, I look at it like, you always know what to do in a situation, because the situation itself shows you what to do. Like, you walk into a fancy restaurant and, you know, it's candle lit, everybody's talking quietly, you follow suit for the most part, because it's already shown you what it expects. I feel like I look at it like the owner, like, if you didn't want that, then you should have made a conscious effort to get ahead of that. You can't wait till people are doing it and then be like, what are y'all doing? That's not what I wanted. When, like I said, you gave the recipes, you're serving people drinks, you got the music going. Like, if you have a party-like environment, how can you not expect people to have party-like parties, you know, have that kind of party fun. Like even when we went to the Harlem spot. And it was like, you know, everybody, like people at their tables, like dancing and shit. Like you play the music, you have the DJ. Like, what are you insinuating? That you know, that's a party, that's a club type thing. Like, not to say you could take away the music, but then you should at that point, I would, and you know, I wouldn't come out like he did and start yelling at everybody. Just be like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna let it rock this time, and the next time I'll be like, listen, this is how I want this shit to go. I didn't expect it to go like that. But also, like, as you said, he was being very condescending. Like, these are also your patrons. Like, these are your customers. These are the people giving you money to keep it running. So you coming out condescending like that, watch how fast, you know, word of mouth spreads and you shut down out of business because you decided to come out the side of your face. Nobody's going to be sad for you if you decided to do that. And, you know, at any person this day and age, you know, when all it takes is somebody just pull out a phone and start recording, you got to be careful about, you know, the kind of shit that you're saying, but also, like, as a business owner, why are you coming out the side of your face to patrons for, you know, you're not necessarily harming anybody. That's more of, oh, this is deemed inappropriate for whatever setting. But if you don't set the boundaries of whatever setting, then who are you really mad at?
Exactly. Nah, honestly, like, and that honestly, it's all spot on. I don't even know if I can add to that, but like, that's all spot on. Like, cause essentially, like, you know, like, and I guess, like, when you do sit down, like, and look at the crux of the argument and the crux of the situation, like, yeah, DJ at, like, brunch or even at any restaurant, like, setting, that is a little aggressive, man. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Yeah,
DJ?
party. Music's loud. Like, people just start dancing of their own accord. Yeah. So, like, it's right. Like, if I don't want no shit with a DJ, and when you're in environments and there's a DJ and you don't want it, you're like, yo.
Yeah, like, this is crazy. Like, and I think, you know, the only thing, like, and the only, in his defense, the only thing I'll say is, like, all right, guys, the only thing we shouldn't be doing at anybody's establishment is, like, you should not be dancing on anybody's furniture. That is, like,
putting your feet up.
Yeah, like, supposedly, like, yeah, she was, like, standing on the chairs and, like, twerking on the wall, hands up on the wall. And because I didn't even see the actual video of her dancing, but if I had, like, seen the video and I, like, you know, even if I seen that, I probably, like, me myself, I wouldn't care. But I understand, as an owner, look, like, yeah, he did put his money into that furniture. It's kind of like if you was throwing a house party and you see somebody just standing on your couch and twerking on the wall. Like, you know what I'm saying? People gonna be like, yo, get the fuck out my house. Exactly, yeah.
Yo, you dirty my walls.
Yeah, like, yo, get the fuck up out my house. I'm kicking you up out the crib real quick.
You could have today. You could have been like, "Listen, like I have a strict tolerant no policy," but now you will be like, "Look at all this." Then you lost me. Then I know I'm like, all right, like I get it, but now you just being. Now I understand. Like, okay, you kicking me out, but now I'm not coming back. Feel me? Like it could have been like, okay, I get it. I won't do that next time. Now it's, oh, okay, you kicking me out. Oh, I don't even want to come back no more. Thanks for that one time. All right. What else we got? So something super tiny. We always talking about electronics because we're a bunch of nerds in here. And I know we had like conversations in the Discord about technology and stuff like that. And you know, again, we'll just jump into it, make a point of just, you know, the low stock in electronics. Crazy. You know, like see these releases. And yeah, of course, it's the resellers, like we said, but we just see like companies due to COVID, due to all of these restrictions, just have these low stocks. And like, I just look at it as not only an indication of how long is that going to last, like that shortage, but also like what other things can that begin to affect? You know, like when it's taking longer to produce, it's taking longer. And we just never have seen that in our lifetime where these things are just straight up slowing stuff down. And I also look at it too in conjunction with, you know, I've known computer gaming to not be this popular where things are selling out at this rate. Like, yeah, it'll sell out, but you usually get a decent chance at getting it. Now it's just straight up gone instantly. And like, so my twofold question, the low stocks in electronics, like how long do we think this is going to last and how it's going to affect other things? And also like, are more people just straight up building PCs because they want to, or are they actually getting into gaming? Are people just bored and, you know, they just want the latest electronics, or is it an actual, you know, turn to PC gaming?
I think like it's definitely a combination of both. Like I think there is a lot of people actually getting into PC gaming. Like I've seen people definitely build PCs that I never thought would have PCs, from friends to, I guess even like when you see people that play video games on console that transition to PC, like they're all trying to like make true like or gain every single advantage that they can like at their games. Like people take their games, I guess, that serious, which I never thought that a lot of people would do. Like, a lot of people, COVID has, I don't want to say unfortunately, I guess fortunately, inspired a lot of people to pursue streaming. Like, I know a lot of people are trying to stream. They get on camera, why not? Like, I always said it myself. I actually don't play games as much as I would like to, but I definitely should. And whenever I am playing games, you should. And I was saying all of that to say that I'm a supporter of, hey, yeah, why not? You don't maybe not have to turn on a camera, but maybe you should turn on some game capture tool, and just talk bullshit over the fucking gameplay. Why not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you play the game a lot, you know what I'm saying? If that takes up a lot of your time week in, week out, and you're really good at it, a lot of people might just want to watch you play it. Like, surprisingly, a lot of people make careers off of doing those things. As silly as it sounds, and as dumb as it sounds, but then like
you could do anything.
Yeah, you can do anything in 2020. Like now, it's so crazy. So like seeing people get into that is definitely where like I could understand why. Okay, these shits are selling out faster than ever. Like, and then obviously when you tack on the notion of the resellers, like I mean, reselling is literally officially now in 2020. It's truly an occupation. Like people like grow up, like they go to school and. Like, some of them just say, hey, you know what? I just want to resell. Like my job forever is just to cook. Like I might have a 9 to 5 to get me like $30,000-$40,000 a year maybe. But then like with that money, like I'm using it to cook up on reselling and double my money, double my investments and things like that. And, at one point it was, I guess as a youth, I used to be able to say I respect it. And I still do somewhat respect reselling. I never want to come off as like, yo, he's hating on resellers. I definitely respect reselling as like
I hate scalpers.
I hate scalpers. Yeah, scalpers. Exactly.
Just straight up buying it and marking up the price like 600% and being like, "What's up?" And be like, "Sorry, broke man, broke girl, you can't buy the shit." Like what?
And unfortunately, it was a lot of that botting. Botting is just what killed the culture. When it used to be like, yo, you still had to go to the brick and mortar shop to pick up a lot of these sneakers, like the raffles and things like that to get sneakers. Like you had networks of people where they might have been like 5 to 10 people deep on teams, and that's how they would hit on a lot of sneakers.
That's tough. Listen, you got that dedication. I don't. I ain't
had to go wait on those lines. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And like now it's just these people with these scripts, man. It's like applications, and you are literally like dominating the market.
Coding. You just web coding. Like, what is this?
It's crazy. So it's just like we're kind of in this position where it's like, like, is it gonna get better? Like, how is it gonna affect? Like going even into 2021, like how is it gonna affect things? Like, look at AMD, bro. They had that paper launch, bro. Like that like we thought Nvidia's launch was bad. AMD's launches have been remarkably worse, which is scary.
Crazy,
it's definitely scary to say.
Something to say.
So, like, I mean, at this point, I mean, I want to pray that it does get better because, a lot of people are going to have some tough times, man. They're not going to be able to get a lot of the things that they want done. But, I mean, for all the people that have transitioned and are, I guess, taking it serious, like, and, I hope people aren't just bored playing games and, spending that much money because you don't need to build a gaming PC to be that bored. I mean, to play a video game. Like, you could just get a console. Yeah. But if you are building PCs, like, I definitely do respect that shit. Shout out to
I try to tell people all the time, just budget, whatever your budget is. Like, don't worry about the hottest shit because I promise you can play games that looks flawless on lesser stuff. Like, oh, what about the 30? Yeah, if you can afford it, sure. But you don't got to go for that right off the jump. Just build up to it.
And actually the bug, I always tell people that you don't want to feed into that bug because once you catch that bug of upgrading to top tier equipment, it's over. It's over. Yeah. It's kind of like a new cell phone. You always want the new cell phone.
Yeah. Okay. Another tiny little thing. HBO Max is partnering with WB Warner Brothers for their 2021 films are going straight to HBO Max the same day as they would release in movies. So that means, well, I saw a thing today about Dune and one other movie because that company didn't know that they were gonna do that. So now they're kind of fighting that or challenging that. Like, we didn't agree to for y'all to do that for our movies. But that's like, Wonder Woman, that's Matrix 4, that's Godzilla, King Kong, just straight the same day, just straight into, and that's obviously a byproduct of COVID.
Hmm.
But is that it? Like, we done with the movies unless like it's some spectacle of a film, like, are because movie theaters are already getting shut down by like the truckload, like, because it's just a business that you need people in those seats. But if nobody's going, then there's nothing. But is that it? Like, is this the first wave in what other companies are going to follow suit and say, all right, well, 2021, we're just going to pack it in. And also, if you want to watch it at home, here you go.
I mean, it's definitely tough to say. I'm definitely not a movie expert, so I wouldn't like say for sure. If I had to give my honest opinion, we might see the death of a lot of like definitely the mom and pop theaters are done. Like they probably won't be
Yeah.
able to survive something like this. I don't know how. Unfortunately, I'm too young to truly know what ownership is like. From what I understand, in this fucking crazy ass country, even when you own your property, you don't ever own your property. So like, what I'm saying? If you're not able to generate income essentially with a lot of the property
Uh,
taxes that's generated year in year out on these things, like, what I'm saying? These people got to start digging into their own pockets, and I can't even imagine what property tax on a large ass facility like a movie theater would look like, and the insurances and all the things that come with like running a true business. You know what I'm saying? Like what that actually looks like, and that's why I do feel for a lot of these business owners in what's going on with the pandemic, the quarantine, things like that. What I'm saying? That's a whole nother discussion in itself. But like that shit is taking a toll. Like you know what I'm saying, Alan? Even when I drive up Forest, I was driving to Forest and I was looking at the Regal by the Jersey Bridge, and I'm looking at the Regal. Yo, they turned that parking lot into a COVID testing site. Like that's a COVID testing facility essentially
wow.
right now. So it's like, okay, like is that movie theater ever coming back? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we don't even know. Like, and I mean that's a Regal. So like that in my mindset, I'm just like, bro, like we really gotta like look at it like if this is the new method, like I hope it's just for COVID because I forgot what I was watching. I think I was watching like Shannon Sharp. He got a podcast and I forgot who he had on it. But he had an actor on it and he was saying something like, along the lines of, I hope it is just for COVID. Like obviously COVID has forced us to need to consume these movies obviously at home. But, like there is a feeling that comes with the theater. Like I do agree to that notion. Like, you
Yeah.
get to the theater being able to experience the movie with the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Yo, turn off your cell phones. You're in a pitch black room. Your eyes can only identify what is on the screen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like the smell of the popcorn in the air, the can like you don't get that feeling anywhere else. Like I'll be honest, I
Good
am
point.
addicted to the movie theater experience. I'll be
Yeah.
entirely honest. Like I don't know about you. Like I actually even remember like the first time when I watched Avengers with you, bro. Like the very first time we seen Avengers in the movie
Yeah.
theater,
Yeah.
and like just the crowd reactions and like that
It
shit
was
is just
nuts.
real. Like it
Yeah.
sends chills in your spine. So I mean, shit. Like if one day I'm gonna raise kids in this world, bro, and I know I'm gonna want them to have that like experience. It's gonna suck if, like that's why I'm banking on this vaccine, man. This vaccine need to hold it down, bro, because I'm saying
Yeah.
if it really proves effective, we get to save experiences like that. I don't know what you think. What do you think movies are
I
done?
Nah, I was gonna say I think so. It's like two parts. One, I think this should have been done a long time ago because you should offer more choices to the consumer. Because it's quite frankly, like to your point, there are movies that should 100% be viewed in the theater, film, the entire experience. Whether it's something completely shot on film and it could only be really seen on a projection, or like for me, like I love to go to IMAX when it's some big fucking action spectacle. Like I
Mm.
need to see explosions, my chair shaking and everything. Like I need that. Like you said, I'm addicted to that. Like so I need that. So I feel like what needs to happen is, yeah, this should have been done a long time ago so that there's so many movies that like I'd love to see, but also is it worth spending that money, that extra, $20 to go see it? Or if I'm taking Ruthie now, it's $40. Oh, you want a little something to eat? 50 something dollars
Quick, easy.
per easy for like some movie that we might walk out and be like, or we could have
It's
sat at
trash.
home. Yeah. And and I feel like what it does is that I think it also should say to theaters, you should 100% be revamping the theater experience. If people are going to come out, it needs to be for a compelling reason. Like, I don't think no longer, especially because, the whole movie pirated situation, it has to be some type of experience that actually warrants people to go out. Like, look at what I think stands the test of time. Drive-in theaters, because that's an experience that you can't get sitting at home or even in the theaters, or like an Alamo Draft House or something where you eat food. It's pretty good food. You could drink. You're chilling in the theater. You could recline back. Like, it needs to be more like that, where it's an experience that you can't get at home. It has to be something that's going to pull people off the couches. So I think it's twofold, where I'm glad that this is finally happening, and like, I don't think it's going to cancel out theaters entirely, but it's just going to be harder for people to go to the theaters now. And also, like, you got to think about, like you said, people with kids, like you have 2, 3, 4 kids, that's expensive for them. Or you
That's
pay
true.
$30 one time at home, and you tell all the little motherfuckers sit down and you watch it right there, so I feel like it's gonna, people who are gonna go to the theaters are still gonna go to the theaters. It's just now they can still make that money from people who just can't do it anymore. So
no, I agree. Actually, I like that. I actually like your thinking there, and you actually brought up that perspective of like the home theater experience. And it's just so funny, like, as somebody who worked at Best Buy, like, I actually worked at Best Buy, and like, I didn't work in home theater, but I can speak to and acknowledge the fact that the home theater experience, if hasn't at least rivaled that of the movie theater, it's somewhat surpassed it. Let's be honest.
Listen,
like, let's be honest.
you wait a little bit, you get 4K, you don't got to worry about somebody, gum on your seat or somebody sitting next to you, or excuse me. You got the clear, you got a good sound bar, or if you got that money, you drop Sonos or Bose, your house is shaking like you in the fucking theater anyways. You just turn off all the lights, you get yourself a nice like 80-inch or some shit,
80-inch,
and it's
like
close.
that.
It's close.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
gonna
100%,
feel you're
but
exactly
feel
100% immersed into the movie at that point. Forget about it. And I mean, like, you got your own snacks, you got your own type of foods, like,
way
nobody can tell
cheaper,
you nothing. Way cheaper, like, you know what I mean?
and
You really do have to take
replayability.
that in. Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
agree. So it's
they just
tough.
gotta like, like I said, I really just think if they just make the theater experience more unique, people are still gonna go. It just might not be as much, but like I said, it's just gotta be something that really is like, all right, I really want to see this, or ooh, let's make it a thing. Because like I love Alamo Draft House. Go get a fucking, let me get some Jameson on the rocks. I'm gonna order a burger while I'm watching the movie. It's a good burger that I can't make at home. Plus that, like, you just chilling. Like, that's a fun experience. So like I said, drive in or any one of those things. But yes, all right. So now I would say, what's another little tidbit, because we got some meteor and I don't want to go flip the script too much. Casanova got arrested for RICO charges.
Yo, that shit is crazy.
That's it. Crazy. RICO charges to me is that they staked your ass out for multiple months and was just waiting there, just gathered all that information. So they know that's it. You going to jail. Like,
yo, it was just so funny because like I very rarely turn into the Best Breakfast Club, but then it showed up on my YouTube, so I looked at it and they would talk about it, and they played the interview that he did after, I guess, 6ix9ine had gotten caught with the whole RICO charges. And Casanova did the interview and pretty much was just like, yo, any millionaire that gets caught with like RICO charges and they got millions on the line, they tell it. And he was like, I'm telling. He said, I'm telling. So he already admitted that he gonna snitch.
Yeah.
Like, look, man. And I think, you know what, this speaks to a greater, I guess, situation in hip hop that I just feel like it needs to be a thing. Like, people need this, once they get on, they really do need to
cut that shit out, yo.
Just cutting it out, and just associating them.
You can't be that close to that kind of shit. Yeah, that's it. Like, you now like the poster child. Like, you can't be like, you're the golden child. Like, you got to have people to be like, all right, you put on. You got to stay legit. Like we can't have you fucking around with this shit, because this is the second time. It's just gonna keep happening. People just, you trying to have. I think people, like you said with the rappers, just trying to like vouch too much on like, oh, I'm still in the streets. I got quote unquote like street cred. You see me out here.
Tough.
Like,
Yeah.
nah, you don't got to do all that. Just go make
You
your
don't gotta
bread.
do none of that. Exactly. Like you're the breadwinner for your family, your hood, your whole team, like all of that stuff. Like you gotta think about that. And they just don't do a good job of doing it. Like I feel like compared to like just our generation of just hip hop rappers and the tough guys and the dudes that we know was doing things in the streets, but never got locked up for nothing because they did a good job of just staying away. Like they are in the limelight. We know like they're dangerous, but they don't have to do nothing because like they know that they're the breadwinners for their whole situation. So
Yeah.
like I don't know, they just gotta like hustle the right way. I guess is like just kind of what I'm saying. And I mean. I don't know, man. I guess Prez out to Duke, bro. I hope, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I heard he pled not guilty, you know what I'm saying? I hope he's not really associated. All of this stuff is obviously alleged. It's all alleged.
Yeah.
So
Allegedly.
Hopefully he gets to defeat that stuff. That's just, that's funny.
And then I would say lastly for Tiny, Nate Robinson taking the fattest L of 2020.
Bro, Nate
knocked out, had his legs looking like string beans.
Yo, Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul on the fucking Tyson Jones undercard is one thing. It's hilarious, first off, but two,
that sentence. Saying that sentence, Nate Robinson got knocked out by Jake Paul at the Mike Tyson
Roy Jones
undercard in 2020.
Dog,
what are we playing, a game of Mad Lib?
Son, I just like the public response was just crazy. Like, first off, shout outs to Nate for actually deciding to get in the ring. Like, but like shame on him for getting in the ring and not knowing how to fight, like at all. Like that was crazy. Like
it's just mad funny. You're like, yo, shouts to you getting in the ring, but why the fuck did you get in that ring?
Nah, for real. Like all he did was scare the hell out of everybody, man. Because honestly, the way he hit the mat, thank God I fell asleep on the fight and watched the highlights, and he didn't get hurt for real. Because honestly, if I watched that live, I would have been terrified because he looked like he died when he hit the mat.
Oh God!
Like, the way he wasn't moving, I was like, whoa. Like, and it's just crazy. It shows you. I don't want to be corny and say, yo, you can't play boxing, but like that has always been that saying. Like
you gotta learn how to box. You can't. Yeah. Just because you do this don't mean you be boxing.
Yeah, like, and I know a lot of people were sitting there like just shitting and saying, oh yeah, he got beat by some dude named Jake Paul, and I guess like even me, like I don't know what it is about. I guess the random white dude that like people think, oh nah, this black athlete. Nate Robinson, our champion, is gonna defeat this man with ease.
It's not the same type of. From my understanding, Jake Paul's actually like a boxer. So like, if you have some training, you're gonna whip somebody's ass that don't got no training. Like just because you're an athlete, don't mean you suddenly know how to properly throw a punch. Even if you do 4 months of training, that's still not necessarily gonna make you as good as And that's not to say Jake Paul's a great boxer. He just was fighting somebody that really probably shouldn't have been doing that.
Like, Jake Paul is considered an amateur at this point. He's not a pro fighter, obviously, but he is an amateur boxer, meaning that he has professional-like skills, but, like, it's just not all the way there. Like, that's what that means to be an amateur. Like, you're somebody who's trying to train to be a professional.
Probably like a step slower.
Yeah, you're a step slower, you know what I'm saying? His guard isn't all the way there. His precision ain't all the way there. His timing ain't. But he might lay you out with a good combo if you slipping, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that's exactly what happened to Nate. Or, like, if he reads the punches well or he reads the fight well enough, catches you one slipping, one well-timed punch, he's going to put you to sleep. So, like, when you consider those things, like, it's like, it's like Nate was fighting fucking Roy Jones or Mike Tyson. That's kind of what he walked into. Like when you think about it, and
like we said, you trained boxer, like that shit is easy unless you fight somebody else that's boxing or another professional fighter. Like anybody else you're fighting, you're just gonna be a step faster than them. Like doesn't matter.
And I think he was 4 to 5 inches smaller than the dude because I think Jake Paul's like 6'3". So the reach was higher, and he was he was a way larger dude. It was like you could tell a light heavyweight, or it looked like a middleweight, versus what Nate looked like. Maybe he might be somewhere in the welterweight division. So that's like fighting somebody like a class or two above him, and weight size. Like it was just didn't make sense. It didn't make
Dangerous.
sense. The public response I think was the worst part for me too, because I'm just like, man, like people just love to shit on people when they down. I know it was funny at first, but then I was just like, man, like, yo, that's so crazy. Like people making fun of him, like people was making fun of him like they could have beat Jake Paul, and I think that's a little ignorant. But I don't know. Twitter's always gonna shit. Like, you gotta be ready for the jokes. Like if you,
It's the jokes.
like
It's jokes over everything. Like if it's your time, it's your time for those jokes.
Time for the jokes. Yeah, you can't even be mad.
Getting lit up. That's it. You just can't. You just gotta just laugh, shrug it off. Like his time came for them jokes. Everybody's gonna remember, but it won't be like, oh, this guy sucks. It's gonna be like, yo, you took that hard L. Like that's it. But again, like thankfully it wasn't a hard L in basketball. That would have been way worse. Like at least just some shit outside what you know for. If you lost in a game of 21. That would have been it. I would have packed you up.
Yeah, I would have rolled. We would have definitely rolled up an 8-pack to that one for sure. For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. But and now his brother's about to get his ass beat by Floyd Mayweather.
Now his brother's about to go and square with Floyd. 2020 in a fucking nutshell. Isn't that crazy? How did he get a fight with Floyd, or why would Floyd sign up to fight Logan
Floyd's
Paul?
Gonna walk in there, body him in like 2 minutes, and then leave and get paid like $10 million for it.
Easy.
He's not even gonna fight. He's just gonna tire him out. He's just gonna keep sidestepping his shit the entire time.
The entire time. He's gonna avenge it. They say he's gonna avenge the people of color. I was dying on black people around the world. I was rolling. I was like, shit, I guess it's fact. I guess it's a fact.
Somebody said, yo, if Floyd lose, we going back to sleep.
Yo, if Floyd gets KO'd by Logan Paul, excuse me, nah, no.
Yo, eject me expeditiously off this planet because it's gonna get dark.
It's not gonna make any sense real quick. Yeah, it's gonna get dark real quick.
I'm gonna be on my tennis shit and be like, yo, I just gotta reverse time now. Like I can't allow this to happen. Shit. Man. Yeah. All right. Let's turn a corner here, get a little more serious. I'll say this first, and as I'm talking about it, we'll just flow into what obviously comes next after. For anybody who's in the NBA or who pays attention to the NBA, Karl Anthony Towns had lost his mother to COVID-19 earlier this year. He had a piece with, I think it was The Atlantic, detailing how he lost 7 family members, including his mother, to COVID, and just was talking about what the season's going to be like and how he just doesn't view basketball the same way anymore. It's not therapeutic. It's just going to be really difficult to play, and like he just doesn't feel the same. And I can't imagine losing 7 family members, including your mother, just having this most visceral, time dealing with this. And you have people out here saying they just straight up I don't want no COVID-19 vaccine. It just doesn't matter, whatever. And you're just going to walk up and imagine telling somebody who lost 7 family members, nah, no vaccine. I'm not doing that. Sorry. RIP your family members, but I'm built different, is what they essentially said. And it's just crazy. Like, look at that. Like, this is a basketball player, a basketball player with hundreds of millions of dollars, lost his own mother, lost 7
access to supreme healthcare, like all the benefits in the world.
He couldn't do anything to save his own mother with hundreds of millions of dollars, and people are still playing around this fucking virus,
bro. I mean, I guess like first and foremost, I mean, rest in peace to the 7 family members and like just anybody around the world, I mean, personally, and at bay, like anybody that I don't know, like if you lost anybody to COVID-19, rest in peace to you and your loved ones. And I'm saying, I'm sorry, like that, this has occurred, because I feel like, I'm saying that like now as like the months and the weeks continue to pass on by until Trumpito leaves the fucking White House, we've learned that a lot of these things, like, and I'll be honest, like there is some blame on the China front as well. Like that shit has come out, and I think just worldwide, like Italy, London, like everybody has like confirmed essentially about COVID or have an idea that something was going on, and they just kind of didn't say nothing. Like they just kind of was like, all right, until like we knew that we had a name for this thing and that we needed to shut shit down. That's when they decided to actually do that. And you know, it sucks that, you know, we had to receive the tail end of everything like usual. But you know, this shit it's just fucking, it's crazy. It's so crazy to think that people can seriously see this stuff happen, and all the information that's coming out, and everything that we have that says, yo, COVID is dangerous, that COVID is kills, and COVID can be like extremely volatile for older, like people over a certain age, or if you're like susceptible to certain types of things, like this shit can accelerate and kill you. And shit, you could be in perfect health and your heart just
And
stops.
even if it doesn't kill you, people are talking about, I'm 27, 28 in perfect health. I am now having trouble breathing. 6 months later, still, I'm still, in bed 19 hours of the day. I have no energy. Like, I can't do this. People are talking about, they having like sleep deprivation. They're talking about there's cases in men that they've just become impotent. I mean, not impotent, like infertile. And I'm like, this is cool. We don't know shit. We're still on with the general public. I mean, they're trying to work out the vaccines, but it's just crazy that people are still playing, and they're just these different effects that we have no idea about. And it's just like, I can't believe. And it's like, anytime you get it and it didn't affect you in an adverse way, that's not because of whatever. That's just straight up luck. I look at it as luck. Like, I don't even want to play around with that shit. And if I were to get it and I survive, that's luck. I'm not saying, see, it ain't that bad. I'm saying, yo, I cannot believe I'm still here after having that shit. Cause around the world, 1.5 million people did not live through that shit. And you could probably, times that by like 50 to get the number of people that had to have been hospitalized or that really have these serious problems afterwards. Mm-hmm. And like we said, it doesn't matter what resources you have access to, because if it affects you in that way, there's only so much people could do. And it's just crazy that we're just sitting here, and it's come time for vaccine, and we're just dealing again with people who are just anti-vax.
It's like anti-vaxxers, the anti-vaxxers. I can't even believe that. Like, what is with this sudden boom of anti-vaxxers though? Like, I can't believe it. And you know what? Like, the whole notion of anti-vaccine and like the anti-vaxxer groups on Facebook, like that, they've always been in the media. Like, I will always say, like, mainly it always seemed like for like not wanting to give vaccines to like children and things like that. Like, I always used to hear about them, but I feel like now with COVID, forget about it. It's just like everybody all of a sudden like, yo, I don't want to take this vaccine, and like, nah, fuck vaccinations. This, oh, just because I'm not even gonna lie, they're incentivizing people to just take a vaccine. Like, which I'll be honest, at one point in time would sound insane, but to me, like, bro, like, so what are y'all telling me y'all want to roll the dice and potentially get sick? Like, that's what y'all want to keep doing with our lives? You'd rather potentially continue to spread COVID, to be a carrier and continue to spread, rather than to take a vaccine that could save everybody? Like, I don't understand, like, that people like read shit on YouTube or just formulate their own opinions that don't have any scientific like,
that's what pisses me off the most. We're talking about actual scientists, written reports, all of this. And listen, and I know it's a hard line to walk, because I can't be mad at people for distrust in, massive pharmaceutical companies, massive entities that have the power to change the world, but instead be charging people $700 for, diabetes, or, for insulin for their diabetes. And if you don't pay that, then suddenly you can't deal with diabetes. And like that, I can't, be that mad at people saying like, I'm distrustful of the government. But again, like, if you're anti-vaxxer, that means you're not taking vaccines. And that means like, I don't know what these people think, but like, polio and like all of these crazy things, like tetanus, it's not that it's gone. It's just there's vaccines for it, and because of that, that means you don't get it. But like, if you don't take that, you can still get it. Like, you get those vaccines because those disease ravaged millions of people, and they don't anymore because there's a fucking vaccine for it. So until those people take vaccines, like it's still going to ravage. That's why we don't have outbreaks of other stuff for the most part, because there's vaccine. If you don't get your vaccination shot for this, it's still going to ravage. And look at where we are now, like on all levels, like society cannot handle these amount of deaths. The economy can't handle this amount of deaths. The healthcare industry can't handle these amount of deaths. People in general can't handle these amount of deaths. Like all this rationalizing we're doing, like it's only making everything worse the longer we continue to have this shit. And if you're not taking that shit, you just extending the time on it, honestly. And I'm not saying like, to people that's like, I'm gonna wait out the first wave. I totally get that. And that don't mean you're anti-vaxxer. I'm talking about you saying at any point in time, I'm never taking this shit.
Yeah. Like those people are definitely like you if you feel that way, like you're a part of the problem. And I mean, hey, you may not feel that way and you might hear this shit and be like, nah, fuck that and fuck y'all. Like if you feel that way. But hey, I mean, like it is what it is. And I mean, you like that ignorant response, trust me, it's just not gonna help nobody. You don't get no cool points from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And it's like people be wearing that shit. It's kind of like people that be proud to support Trump, that like you say things and you want to be boisterous about being ignorant sometimes. Like that's just really your thing. You're getting off on that. And I don't know, man. I just hope that y'all not the same ones that, or no, I'm hoping, unfortunately, you guys are the same ones that are gonna get sick and like forcibly have to be taught that this shit is real, and now I have to live with the ailments and the fucking lingering effects of having.
You just gonna sit there and have you and your kids just get measles and nobody else getting measles because you didn't take the measles vaccine. So and people don't understand. Same thing with wearing masks, about how it's not just you. If you don't take a vaccine, and let's say you're deciding my child and me are never getting vaccinated, and somebody else is going to get vaccinated, they schedule their doctor's appointment, they schedule for their child in a week to get it. You give that child that in that week for some, they have an immune deficiency or whatever, their immune system is developed. You've now given that person, if they don't survive through that, you've essentially killed that person because you didn't decide to take that vaccine. That's true. Like it's more than just you, like, and I don't understand. And also like you're just purposely suscepting yourself to things that we're beyond. Like again, like I said, tetanus, like that shit, if you got it back then, that was it for you. The vaccine exists now so that you don't have to get that shit. Like you're moving backwards in time by saying I'm gonna walk around and just I want to actually get all these old diseases. Like that's just, you know what, I want to get chickenpox. I'm gonna try my luck and see what happens.
Yeah, like what? People are absolutely insane, man. I don't know. I'm hoping that like that it's just people talking when they see the money, that they just shut the fuck up and they go get that vaccine. Because I think money doesn't entice anybody. So I feel like hey, if they dead ass doing that type of proposal where they paying people to go take it, people are gonna go take it for sure.
Yeah. It's just for me, like I totally get, especially like black people saying like I'm not fucking with the vaccine off that first wave, because there's an extended history of the healthcare industry and a lot of shit.
They
specifically using black people as test subjects for whatever, because that's how this world decided to operate. But like I just look at it as crazy of like people with wealth, resources, access to stuff, just still deciding to be that way. Like you're in a position where you don't got to worry about that shit. Like even if you did get it, like your healthcare is fine, but again, you're affecting other people around you because you're just it's a free society, I'm gonna do whatever I want, this and the third. And again, it's just another marker of selfishness. To me, is what I look at. Like that's again with the mask, with that, it's like, okay, I know now you're telling me you really don't give a shit about other people when it matters, in the way that if you're not told what to do, like you're not going to give a shit about somebody. Like you're just straight up saying like I'm not going to do that because I don't care about other people. Like when it comes to like communal or community, having a sense of community and saying like, you know what, I'm going to wear this mask because not only don't want to get it, like it's the thing to do. Like, we all got to get these together. And you're just deciding not to partake in any of those things. It's just straight up saying, I'm living in my own world. Fuck everybody else around me.
Yeah, it's just so like you said, like, it's just crazy. Like they believe, like, and there is truly a belief that is a thing. Like they can like exist in a world, or there's a world, or like, you know, at least for me, I would hope that it's not, because it's not true. Like, you can't, there isn't a world that exists where like y'all gonna give us just the virus and we kill us off. Like, nah, y'all niggas is gonna get that shit too eventually. So it don't make no sense. Like, they wouldn't be doing that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, nah, bro, we like just take the vaccine. And I understand. Like, I understand. Like, back then, like, they was on some shit, but like right now, we're talking about stuff that, like, when it comes to human eradication, I feel like it's a little different. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't want to roll the dice and be wrong on something like that. That's not something I
Yeah.
want to be wrong on like that. If I was gonna be wrong because motherfuckers is evil, so be it. Unfortunately, like I was led astray, unfortunately, but at the same time, trust me, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure I'm educated enough to understand that the vaccine means well for me.
And you're
And I
trying to
take
keep
it.
yourself and the people you love safe by
Exactly.
trying to get that shit. And you know, and I don't know what other people think. Oh, I get that shit to go give me a microchip. Oh wow, yeah, because they can't track you already. You
Like,
know, not
what?
just your cell phone, not the fact that you have all your cards saved in your Apple Wallet, or the fact that your all your bills are on auto pay with your information. Oh, not the fact that you log into your banking app using Starbucks public Wi-Fi. Not the fact that you leave your that somebody could take your phone out of your hand, show it to your face, unlock it, run away, and that's it for you. But
Yeah.
no, the microchip is where you know. Anytime you check into a place at any point in time, ads, all that. It's already, if you're talking about that microchip still, you see, you have really no idea that like we're beyond that. Like all your information is already readily available. Like, I'm sorry, try another conspiracy, because if you think you're somehow unique because you're using like a phone that still doesn't have internet, guess what? They can still find out where you are. If you logged in on Facebook at any time, it's all there. Like, I don't
Mm.
understand people's
Yeah.
conspiracies. They just don't hold up the same anymore. And that microchip shit is just so it was always so absurd, but now it's just like, bro, your smartphone in your hand is like your
People
whole life.
people just be making shit up, man, just to
There's
hit
no microchip
themselves.
to track you. They don't
Like,
do that already. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. You get ads for, you walk into one store and then all of a sudden you start getting ads for that store. If that's not telling you that all your information about what you do, where you are, the kind of shit that you like, somebody, if they gathered all the aggregate data about your browser tendencies, the websites you go on, the comments that you make, you can find out. You could probably find out exactly who I am, who you are, through everything about my digital footprint.
yeah, no, honestly, it's like that shit is just it's crazy. Like, people's self, like their notion of just, I guess, security is just so like false. Like, they don't have like the security they believe they have. But I mean, hey, you
Yeah.
know, you could only let people like, this is the control. Like, they believe they're not in control. Like, the government has you controlled. Trust me, they make you feel like you have security or you have liberties that you
Yeah.
don't have really. Like,
You have the liberties so long as you know you don't do anything that they might find threatening, and then all those liberties get stripped away from you, and you're on your own. And
like
you get
that.
locked up in some CIA black site, were tell your family were killed in a car accident or something. And that's it. But like you just, it's just so crazy. Like you not taking that vaccination is not your fucking big stand against these evil corporations. I just don't understand that. It's like you want to be some sort of revolutionary, but you're like half-assing it in a way. Like I say,
Yeah,
if I don't take this, I'm, you know, me, I'm an individual. I'm not succumbing to that. Like that's just so wild to me.
it's
It's
so
just
stupid.
such a crazy notion. And then in the same breath, be like, well, I was on Amazon the other day buying X, Y, and Z. Like, okay.
These people, man, these people are crazy, bro. I'm telling you, it's so insane. Oh man,
My goodness.
but
But enough of that. We are nearing the closing days for the new start of the NBA season.
word.
And we could talk about, I don't remember all the trades. I don't know if we want to run through them or just talk about the big one.
Well, yeah, I guess we could just talk the big one though, because you know what I'm saying. Like, I think the
We
one that everybody was still like we talking about is that Russ and John Wall trade. You
Yep,
know what I'm saying?
straight up swamp and a first round pick.
Yeah.
So where do you what you think? Where do you stand on this?
I mean, like, you know, with the landscape of the league, I feel like, you know, for the most part, it remained kind of safe. Like, you know, I mean, when you look at, like, it's remained safe from the standpoint that, like, there's not really a clear, like, winner other than the Lakers. I guess the Lakers are the clear lead again. And like, there's not like any juggernauts though that are like, yo, I don't see any holes or ways that this team could be beat. Like, the Warriors, unfortunately, they had their setback with Clay. That's gonna suck. Like, seeing them,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that's
like
massive.
probably stink through another year. I mean, I see them maybe becoming a top 8 team still, but
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
Steph on his own could. I would believe that like with that time off and as good as a player as he is, he should be able to keep them in playoff contention. I don't know how Draymond's gonna play,
yeah, like it
honestly.
depends on how Draymond's gonna look, and I mean, then
Who
they
else
got the
they have?
rookie, the
Kelly Oubre.
Wiseman. They got
Oh
Kelly
yeah,
Oubre Jr.
Wiseman.
as well, who could put up like 20 points a game. So they have some options. Like, I definitely expect them to be competitive. Let's see what they do.
Yeah,
But I mean, I guess like that Houston situation is just gonna be so interesting. I think John Wall, like, surprisingly, I don't know if he's gonna fit better with James Harden, but like in a weird way, I actually think he's a higher IQ player than Russell Westbrook. Like,
yeah, I
Westbrook
can
is
agree
so,
with that.
yeah, Westbrook is all talent, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. He is so talented that like he could average a triple double for 3 years straight. Like, that's how talented Russell Westbrook is. But like, when we talk about the IQ plays and things like that, even the shooting, I mean, John Wall technically is just that a little bit better. Like, yeah, he's not as athletic, but like technically he's a better defender than Westbrook too. Like, he's known
Yeah,
for his two-way defense. Like, yes, we obviously have to see who he is because he's coming back from some catastrophic injuries. But
yeah,
I mean, if he's anything, like, I'm thinking at least 75% of who he used to be, which is just, a two-way, like 15 and 10 type guy, like that could, like, you know what I'm saying? He could be two-way,
yeah.
he could run your offense, and he could give you 10 to 15 points a game. And then DeMarcus Cousins, like, I know they got DeMarcus Cousins as well. Like, you could try and get him involved. Like, if y'all could turn them into anything like they used to be, I mean, like, Houston is
Yeah.
right back on, like, we're talking a top 3 team. Like, we're
Yeah.
talking, like, those 3 names alone, DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, and James Harden. If you heard those 3 names on a team back, like, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, you would say championship contender. So, like, I'm definitely not ready to write them off. I don't know about Washington. I don't know. Like, I think they're going to obviously get a lot better now, too, because they're getting a player. Like, they're actually
Yeah.
getting Westbrook.
Yeah, exactly. A body
Yeah.
on the floor to actually produce.
To produce. And, I mean, they're going to be right alongside Bradley Beal, who's just coming off of his breakout All-Star plus quasi-superstar season. So, like, you're going to
I
be
think
able to
they'll
see.
have fun playing together. I hope. It looks
Yeah.
like they should be pretty fun playing together.
I think Westbrook is always going to like drive, like kick out to either him or Burton's. It's going to be like one of those two, Davis Bertans, or it's going to be Bradley Beal, and they're both true 3-point shooters. So like they're going to have success. Man.
Russ is back with
Brooks
Scotty
is there.
Brooks.
Yo, I was
Yeah.
just about to say that. Like, he knows how to use him. So like they're going to be able to work out a system that just makes sense for all of them. Like, it makes everybody look successful. And I mean, yeah. Like out of this season, I'm expecting Washington definitely to make the playoffs. Like for those two teams, Washington got to make the playoffs, and Houston, if James Harden locks back in. I know he's been on the run right now, a little baby in Vegas and throwing money in the strip club, be buying little baby Prada bags and shit. It's crazy. Like
he's like, he got me a honey bun and a honey bun. He gave him he said he got me a Prada bag because he's proud of me.
Prada bag because he's proud of me. The honey buns.
You just gave him a Prada bag and $100,000. I was like, yo, what?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. That shit is just hilarious. But I guess if he checks in, I don't know. Like, they say he hasn't even reported to training camp yet, so it hasn't been paradise per se. Like, supposedly him and John Wall spoke and they have plans to play together, but I don't know what James Harden is doing, because we all know he wanted to go to the Nets. So let's just see what that looks like, man. This season, hopefully it's gonna be cool. I'm
curious to really see Wall play with James Harden, because I know Wall has that tendency too, like that Russ tendency where like they're off the ball and they just stand there. And like Houston is really not that team where you could just afford to just be standing there if you're not a shooter. And John Wall's not that good of a 3-point shooter. So for you to just be standing on the perimeter, not doing anything, like I'm sure, like I feel like, D'Antoni should have some, or wait, is D'Antoni even still there?
No, I think it's Silas. What's his name?
Yeah.
I forgot his first name, but something Silas.
Yeah, we'll see. Stevens? No, not Steven Silas.
Steven Silas. Yeah, Steven Silas, I think. I think it is that, right? Steven Silas.
Oh
Think
shit! I want to confirm that.
yeah, I think it's Steven
uh,
Silas. Yeah, Steven Silas.
okay. All right. I don't know any of what he'd be doing. Like I don't know his coaching style. Was he a D'Antoni
I think he's technically
coach?
from the D'Antoni tree, yeah, because he got moved up from assistant, so he assisted D'Antoni, I believe.
Oh, he spent the previous 2 seasons on Carlisle's staff. Okay.
Oh wait, no, sorry, he's from Dallas. Wait, is he from Dallas?
It
They
said his
both.
last 2 seasons were with him.
Oh, okay, so
So,
they tapped him from
it's,
Dallas. I'm
oh,
tweaking.
but last year was his 19th year as an assistant coach. So he's been assistant coach for 19 years. Damn.
Wow. Yeah, I don't
All
know.
right.
We'll have to
So
see about
I
that.
mean, if you're engineering or if you helped engineer that Dallas offense,
And they
I
were
feel
number
like
one in the league,
yeah, you
greatest
could
offense
definitely
ever.
draft something to have John Wall just be moving a lot of cuts and just work with him in his play style. So I think it should be interesting. Yeah, as long as he comes back a semblance of what he was. And I'm also curious to see if you're going into those deep playoff runs, what John Wall looks like in those deeper playoff runs. I'm excited to see the two Kentucky boys back together, Wall and Boogie, on the same team again. That was at that 2010 Kentucky team, I think that was.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
like 2010, I believe. Because
shit
what
like
was it,
that.
Rose? Yeah, some shit like that. Early,
Yeah.
early side of the 2000s. But I would
Um,
say like yeah, like that. I think. And like at the very worst case, like they could just run something similar to what they figured out for Houston in the second half of last season. Like I
yeah,
think they ran out of steam in the playoffs, but they found staggering Harden and Westbrook where they're not playing all the time together, but at different stretches of the same, like maybe 3 to 4 minute
yeah,
stints. So like maybe Harden starts the game like he first the whole first quarter, like Westbrook might play 5 minutes, then go to the bench, and
yeah,
then Harden gets his first five. He gets 5 to 6 minutes of a solo offense type thing where he's running the offense, and then you bring in Westbrook for the first 5 to 6 minutes, or not Westbrook, but in this case, obviously, it'd be John Wall. You do
yeah,
that. He starts off the second quarter. Harden comes in for the last 5 minutes of the second quarter before the half. You
yeah.
stagger their minutes
You
for where they
stacking up
both
like
get those ridges.
and
Yeah,
then you
like
sit them probably both out towards the later half of the third quarter, and then you play them most of the fourth quarter, some shit like that.
together, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, they pretty much got to be able to run their own show. First quarter, second quarter, some of the third. End of the third, they take a rest. Fourth quarter, they come out together, and then they really
yeah.
punch somebody in the mouth. I don't know. I think
It
it's
could
gonna
be
work out
again
though.
the same thing. It's still that same Russ dilemma, or when Russ came, that same dilemma. Like it could either be holy shit, this is incredible, or they just kind of like fizzled out and just it's either exactly what we expect in the way that like the ball just doesn't move and it still is kind of dead in that sometimes Houston fashion,
Mm.
or it turns out to be really good and it's like, oh my god, we're finally seeing two dynamic stars just really go at it with each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then shit, I would say lastly to my last topic slash question on the NBA, since this is going to be the first we're after the bubble, it's going to go to where, the NBA is adding new staff members to every team to manage COVID, to, have everybody tested, make sure everybody's good as they move around. Toronto Raptors were told they can't play in Canada and have to now play in Tampa Bay because Canada's like, nah, yeah, Americans are wilding. Don't come up in here with that shit. So, what do considering some places are gonna have, reduced capacity playing inside, what do we really expect out of this season? Because now, we praised the bubble. We loved it because it was, they really did their best to contain that spread. But now you're going back to moving around. And even if you're adding those members, yeah, what do we really expect with all of that? Is it going to go just as bad as, NFL's kind of been going, where they're kind of playing games and, they're playing them, but, you have people going out with COVID. Like I'm just curious to see. So what do you
Mhm.
expect?
Well, I feel like let's see, because I think the preseason is technically happening. I think over the next week or two. Like I think the
Yeah.
22nd is the first game. So
Yeah.
like the week prior is gonna be a preseason. So they're doing training camp, I believe, this week. Next week is gonna be preseason week, and then the season starts the week after. I don't know. Let's see from the standpoint of like I actually want to see them hopefully like lead the way and showing us the way forward as far as like just how this is gonna work. Like y'all gonna be in these arenas, I understand. Like so like okay, how all right, is there gonna be fans? Are y'all doing any fans at all? Like, and I know if there's no fans at all right now due to restrictions from in certain cities, like, when you do start to roll back in fans, at limited capacity, and like, how are you gonna keep everything under control? Is this how it's like? I guess gonna be my question. You know what I'm saying? Is it gonna require rapid testing of same day? Maybe it's not the PCR. I think is the PCR test, but like the rapid test, like for you to get them same day, like you might have to have one taken within a certain time frame. I could imagine for you to attain an event at night. Like I could imagine something like that. Are you going to employ something like that? Is that something that's paid for when you purchase a ticket? How does that even work? Is it free with the purchase of a ticket? Like,
which I said, like if it is that, I'm going to be so pissed personally that like for you to get a reliable test, I'm going to have to attend an NBA game. I can't get it anywhere else if I want a reliable same day test. The only way that's going to be so crazy that we're going to have actual, like free, accessible healthcare resources be dedicated to entertainment rather than,
that
that's
shit
just,
unfortunately speaks to our society and our economy, because it's like it's so crazy. Like, cause Golden State was the first people before California locked down and said like the whole like banning indoor and businesses and everything with the spikes. Like they were planning on doing $30 million. They were gonna invest in like same day testing for like people that wanted to come watch the games. They were gonna invest the money, and like that's truly our healthcare, bro. Like if you have money in America,
that's
you can
it.
make anything happen. Yeah, you can make a lot of things happen, and it's just sad. Like yeah, you're right. Like people that don't get the test, or like for us not to be able, we unfortunately not getting tests quick enough, and people are being delayed in testing. If you have the money, though, you can get the test tomorrow. That's how it works.
You'll get your results however fast. Like,
Yeah.
but rapid testing here is you have to schedule it and then go, and then you have, some places if you need it at the nick of time, like you have to wait on fucking line or whatever. It's just so crazy. Yeah.
Nightmare, yeah. It's fucking crazy, but
yeah, like is that the level of what it's going to need to be? Because I just look at it as the moment you start adding fans, it's just such a ridiculous variable in the equation of trying to stop the spread. Because like you said, are you going to have that? Are you going to require people to say, all right, you took a same day test, I need to see that negative symbol or whatever. It needs to say negative before you enter this place. But considering, different states have these different restriction laws going on, is the NBA going to have a prerequisite above all else and say it doesn't matter what state you're in, this is what we're doing for NBA games? Or are they going to leave it up to each state? Because to me, that's just crazy, because we have some states, you got like Georgia going crazy, like at a Hawks game. Is it just going to be a fucking free for all? And these states that just don't care, like, how is that going to be represented? Are we going to hear backlash from that, or governors or whoever going to be like, oh, the NBA wants to play here, well, they have to allow all of my fans? I'm not doing none of this liberal fake Chinese media bullshit. Like, what is it going to be like? I just wonder. Like, I just don't think it's the like. I'm excited, but it just seems too soon in a way that, like, I feel like it needs to be like 100% like solidified in the way that we're doing this. Like that not every variable, but most variables have been accounted for. And I feel like still trying to tour around, like, I just don't know if it's going to be as successful as the bubble personally. And how many games is it? 72 only?
I think they're playing 72 games, and I also do think that, like, because I can't say for sure if they're doing any fans. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, they already canceled the idea of it. But if they were going to do it, though, like, I'm pretty sure Adam Silver would definitely iron that out a lot. And even if he did get into a lot of, like, struggle matches, like I think back to the whole North Carolina situation with the LGBT.
Oh yeah.
And they just straight up, and then he straight up pulled the All-Star game.
He said was like, nah, we're done here. I was like, oh
yeah, he don't play. So like I know him to be like, you know what I'm saying, like very like thoughtful about how he would do that. Like, and I think even with the games themselves, I don't think every single city is being used. The way it's working is that they are gonna have like mini bubbles or miniature type bubbles where games are conducted. Like players are like, I don't know if like right now I think they're able to stay in their homes right now because the season hasn't started. But once like it starts, I'm pretty sure they have to stay at certain sites. The way it's gonna be is mini bubble like, it's gonna be very bubble like, So
I wonder how they're scheduling the games too. Is it going to be how, like we said, like are they going to keep it to where, all right, you're going to play out a lot of your West Coast games in, you know, like a 3-week stretch, so you don't move around a lot. Then, you know, like I'm just curious. Maybe they've already done that when they were doing the bubble and they were trying to think of next season, and they already, you know, formulated and theorized all of this. But you know, I'm just really curious to see. I hope it goes well. I'm just looking at the two American examples we have with baseball and football, and it just, you know, this both of them are just they're playing games, but like by the skin of their teeth, and sometimes it just, you know, just doesn't seem as safe as possible. So I just hope the NBA continues to do the right thing by its people to make for a fantastic product, because we all miss it. And Braun is not playing a game until like March, bro.
Nah, pretty much.
He's like, oh, we start in December. You're gonna see me mad late.
Yeah, he ain't playing until next year. I don't expect to see him this year for sure.
And his first game is gonna be like 25 minutes played. He's gonna keep that shit casual.
Oh man.
Is that it? Did we hit everything?
I think we hit everything today. We hit everything. We covered the moon and back. Honestly, hella topics.
Wow. So shit, an hour and 35. That's not bad for somehow. I thought I put too much.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like we talked about more shit than the last time, but like had a slightly smaller pod. I think about like 10 minutes.
Some more 10 minutes. But shit. All right then. So this has been Touch the City episode 33, aka Shaquille O'Neal, Big Diesel. He was 33, right? Am I bugging out?
Or was he
on the Lakers?
Yeah,
was he 32? Hold on.
Nah, he might 32. Or was he?
It's Kareem. Kareem is 33. God damn. That's a damn shame. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to all the real basketball heads that's listening to this and just heard me say that. Episode 33.
Yeah. Shaq did wear 33 though. He wore 33 in Miami? Magic and the Cavs, and he wore it like he didn't wear it on Miami though, because Miami.
33 is Alonzo Mourning got retired.
Yeah. Or no, Terry Catlish refused to relinquish the 33. It says here.
What?
Terry Catlish. What?
All right. Oh wow. Oh yeah. All right. So early Magic or Kareem? Early Magic Shaq. Then we doing early Magic Shaq. When he took the Bulls up and just said, fuck y'all. Sorry, Mike. You can't just come back in after retirement and come for this. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. We love doing it. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. We're on a bi-weekly schedule. So this episode is coming out the 8th. So you won't hear us again for 2 weeks after that. Don't worry. We'll make sure they're, you know, of a longer duration so you get more of us. And you can take your time listening to it over the 2 weeks. So again, thank y'all for listening. And I hope everybody's doing safe. Had a good Thanksgiving, and catch y'all in the next one.